Liverpool's is in a slump. What is wrong with this 500 million transfers which Liverpool has got, and Arne Slot building under the likes of FSG and Anfield is losing so many of the matches, and still it is FSG not finding any solutions for the losses, and Arne Slot yet not finding the good tactical abilities to be playing in the Premier League. This video is all about why Liverpool is getting those wrong moves, getting those losses, but they have gotten those big transfers but not making good in the Premier League, because it is just on those 55% win record where Arne Slot is playing with this 500 million team, and the top of the table it is Arsenal, who are on close to 80% in those winning streaks. But it is not most the stats which are yielding into this, that they have considered, Liverpool have considered 14 goals and scored only 16. What is that wrong with Liverpool which is happening? And for Arne Slot, this is the tactical breakdown. We will be getting it into the tactical adjustments. We will be getting into the defensive instability of the team. It is the midfield we will be talking about, and why the attack is losing those sharpness, as well as some injury concerns are there. So let's jump directly into this without wasting any time, that why Liverpool is struggling this season. Hello guys, welcome back to another episode with Ramsay, and in this video, as being said before earlier, that it is the Liverpool's slump season which is happening, because it is those 6 defeats out of their 7 matches. But in the Premier League, they have got those 4 defeats already. That is what the instability is, because the previous season it was only 4 losses which they had in the Premier League throughout the season, but there were more losses. If we are talking more, it was Tottenham who got those big defeats to Liverpool in the previous season. It was PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League. It was Plymouth who got those defeats to Liverpool in the FA Cup the previous season. It was the likes of Newcastle getting those big victories over Liverpool. Alexander Isak, the transfer who has come in, was the sole reason for that. And it was Fulham in the Premier League. It was Chelsea in the Premier League, and as well as the likes of Brighton. These were the defeats which Liverpool got in the previous season. But fans, after the likes of Jurgen Klopp getting those exits and Arne Slot coming in, didn't realize much that Arne Slot is not doing that good with the Reds the previous season. It was me who made that slumpy video, and fans were just protesting that I have made those bad vibes about Liverpool the previous season. But no, that wasn't the case, because now it is already those big mishaps which has happened. And in this season so far, Liverpool getting those stoppage time goals in the previous first 5 matches of the season, somehow managed to get those victories. Definitely the first 5 fixtures of this season, Liverpool getting those stoppage time goals. It was the clutch moment fans were saying that Arne Slot is having with the team. But no, it is not the case. It is the defeats which have started this season. The first one was against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. It was Galatasaray in the Champions League. It was Manchester United in the Premier League. The third defeat which happened, it was Brentford in the Premier League, and now it is Crystal Palace again in the EFL Cup. A big knockout to Liverpool early in this stage of the season, and where they have got a knockout from a tournament where they could have been getting those splashes, whether the Adidas contract is also going to be staying with Liverpool or not, because Florian Wirtz, as he has joined Liverpool, and Liverpool has made those contracts with Adidas, because Adidas is linked with Florian Wirtz, and whether that is going to be happening or not, or Liverpool is going to compensate with those big splashes of American money coming in from FSG to be getting those major stakes at Liverpool, are going to pay it for the losses. What is that going to be is a big question, because generally it is Liverpool under the likes of Jurgen Klopp has been mostly getting those emotional attacking as well as those building up plays happening. But under Arne Slot, whether Arne Slot is having those motives, that Premier League in the past 5 seasons have got built in more strength into it, and as well as the likes of more attacks which have been seen in the forwards. It is the press which has come into the opposition's end in the Premier League, and this is the thing which is getting revealed, that if you are going to sustain those points in the Premier League, you have to get those attacking aspects good. It is those counters, it is those build up. The pace and the speed of the Premier League has just moved on to the higher end. But Arne Slot, with his tactics, what he is doing He is relying in the first half mostly to be seen not building up high in those attacks, neither in those counters, rather staying on those positions and creating those passes at the right perfect time. But it is the time which the Liverpool and the red players have to take to adapt to that playability which Arne Slot was doing in his previous clubs. In some Dutch league, it was the likes of Feyenoord who were making that to happen. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen in the Liverpool because it is a different league. It is Arne Slot who doesn't have those answers to these questions, that why Liverpool are not. He's saying that in the previous season he was implementing those changes, the teams which the players were playing in the previous season, he is also implementing those players to be playing in this season as well. But how is that going to be happen? Because it is the likes of Alexander-Arnold who is not there. It is Frimpong who has come in. But mostly he is in the injuries. It is the likes of Alisson Becker who is also injury. Kelleher, the goalkeeper, has been given away. What a big misery that is for Liverpool to be talking in. And mostly to be seen for the Liverpool squad, it is Ekitike who has got those goals. It is the likes of Gakpo, just 3 goals in it, 2 assists throughout the season. Mo Salah has been completely shut down. It is the likes of Mo Salah who is completely isolated, not playing anything as not getting those assists. He is a lone man who can be seen if he is making those counters high up on the pitch. But it is the likes of Florian Wirtz even which Arne Slot is not being able to implement in it, whether he is going with those 4-3-3 in the build-up, it is the 4-2-3-1 if you're talking about, or it is the 4-4-2, whatever, but you have to move it high up on the attacks if you are going to be making that big. But the losses this season, where it is the likes of Wirtz who needs to be implemented, players are, as well as the fans are saying that it is the physical capabilities of Florian Wirtz where he is not getting those strength. But it is not the case. Florian Wirtz doesn't need those physical strength to be playing in. He is that player who can run with the ball glued to his legs, and he is that possessive player on the attacks who gets passed into the nets whether he is given that loose. But it is mostly who Arne Slot building Florian Wirtz to be getting those creative passes. That is what he has been getting, more than 20-22 assists this season all through across the matches for Liverpool this season. But it is Arne Slot who have to understand that Florian Wirtz is not that player who is going to make those passes and assists. Rather, he is the man who likes to be staying high up in those attacks, making those dribbles inside the box, making those magical moments and getting those goals. He has to implement it. It is Ekitike who has been again seen laying down in those forwards, and Gakpo getting those moments, has just getting those 3 goals. Whereas the involvement of Mo Salah, who was the best goal scorer of the previous season in the Premier League, Arne Slot is just reversing the cases, because it is also the likes of Curtis Jones who have been seen playing on the mid-pitch. Szoboszlai, he has been quite decent. I won't say much about him, but Szoboszlai on the mid-pitch. On the right backs is there, but why is the likes of McAllister dropping in with Szoboszlai? Because both of them with that speed, if Szoboszlai is going to move high up, it is McAllister who is giving away those spaces to the oppositions in the mid-pitch. That is what the crisis is. So Arne Slot is completely reversing the whole attacking aspects which they are capable of and allowing them to play those positions where they haven't played that much. If you're asking Mo Salah to be getting creative and not getting into the attacks, but when he's going into the attacks, you are keeping him as a lone wolf in those attacking aspects, how is the likes of Mo Salah getting those goals? Arne Slot needs to get some time, needs to get his mind relaxed, because what he was doing in those Dutch leagues prior to that at Feyenoord before Liverpool is not the case what is going to happening. You are not going to get those positions to be making those passes, getting those build up good enough for those attacks if you are going to get those goals, because you have scored only 16 and you have conceded 14. It was the previous season also, you conceded 41 on and all in the goals for Premier League for Liverpool, but you had scored more than 85 goals. That was the thing. But this season it has been dramatic, and with the likes of Van Dijk and Konate is there on those some sort of injury moments, is having those transfer sagas which is occupying his mind, as well as those oppositions which he is not getting the best of his performance. But what about Van Dijk? He has also given away those chances into the oppositions in the Premier League as well. Van Dijk and Konate, it is the aspects of Leone to be seen, but that 18-year kid, do you think that only with 3 matches this season he is mostly under those big injuries, not getting those playtime, will be good enough? But it is Bradley who is seen on the right backs. It is the likes of Kerkez who is seen on the left backs. It is the inverted back positions. Kerkez moving high up. It is the likes of Bradley who is moving high up. But they are again getting those spaces left for the oppositions to build up good. And it is none other than the injury of Alisson Becker. It is Mamardashvili who is playing on the goalkeeping aspects, and Liverpool is conceding. But the forms of Robertson, if he is doing good, then let him play on the first build-up, first plan-up for your team. But no, Arne Slot is again revamping that first lineup of him and making those players to be playing in the first half, whether they are very much sublime and low on their own block. And in the second half, he is trying to plain heal and reinforce those attacking players into the squad to get those goals, where it is the likes of Mo Salah on those big age numbers talking about him is getting exhausted. It is the likes of Florian Wirtz getting exhausted, Gakpo not getting involved, losing his legs as well as those energies. TK is also doing that same. But what is the thinking which Arne Slot is getting in his mind to implement at this, and why FSG is taking so much of time to make a decision? Because whether it is going to be the likes of Jurgen Klopp back to Liverpool, or it is also those rumors that Zinedine Zidane, the talk is also going to be there that whether Zizou is the man who is going to take reins if Slot is going to be sacked. Because it has to be spending 500 millions and not getting those goals as well as not big moments. It is not getting involved. We're talking more precise into it. It is the fans who are not happy. If the defeats would have come and your gameplay would have been good enough, then it could have been a different story. But the fans, what they are not liking it at Anfield or at the other away stadiums where they are playing, the gameplay which Arne Slot is implementing with Liverpool, the time which they are taking it in building up, the time which they are getting those involvements to be talking, to be playing with the oppositions, is not doing the talking, because Premier League has moved into those more attacking aspects in the last 5 years. That is what we have been saying, and the same thing which we have been saying in the previous season as well. So whether these transfers are going to be not, but defensive instability, the mid-pitch crisis which was there under Jurgen Klopp, but he was trying to something compensated with the attacking aspects, which those quick transitions moving high up on the pitch. But this same thing is lacking with the past 1.5 years under Arne Slot as well. In the mid-pitch, he hasn't found any sort of recoveries. He hasn't got any sort of transfers on the mid-pitch. It is the Gravenberch, the man's sole thing he is doing. In the previous season, he was the best player. But now it is only relying on Gravenberch and Szoboszlai. But if only two players are relying on the mid-pitch, not the likes of Wataru Endo, not the likes of Jones, not the likes of McAllister, how are Liverpool going to be making that? And as well as they have led one of the elite players, Harvey Elliott, to a loan move to other clubs. It is a total crisis which Slot is facing. If some sort of a win which they are required to be having in it, whether they are going to be making high up with those attacks, because they have got those transfers, they have to build up high into those attacks and get those goal conversions, but how they are going to manage the mid-pitch crisis as well as the defensive crisis, where their two inverted backs are just moving out of space whenever they are losing those balls in those counters. And it is also the likes of Mamardashvili on the goalkeeping aspects, but Kelleher has also been given away on a loan. Elliott has been given away on a loan. Bright young kids from Liverpool have been given away, and the big transfers which has come in, especially to be talking about the likes of Alexander Isak. What is he doing? He is getting those emotional stunts, not being able to play. He is getting those mind-blocking aspects to be playing that. He is not having those moments on the pitch. Arne Slot needs to have some time. It is the likes of FSG who have to get those mentality and those leaderships to be talking about, because it is the post-Klopp era mentality which is not looking the same with the likes of Arne Slot, and Slot's calm approach contrast with Klopp's emotional energy and in those razor sharp judgment pressing, and some players which have been fully bought are not yet compatible with the team. It is some sort of absence which you can say that Diogo Jota is not there. It is the unavailability of Arnold who is not there. It is something which Liverpool is missing. Luis Diaz moving to the likes of the Bundesliga giants Bayern. These are the crises which Liverpool are having in the forwards as well. So what is your say, guys? It is the tight defensive transitions. It is a consistent midfield pairing. It is the bring back vertical speed in the attacks which they are lacking, and trust in the youths like the Elliott and the likes of Kelleher which they have been missing. And Slot is making this Liverpool to be doing the talking. That is what it is. But in the end, it would like that Arne Slot Liverpool aren't a failure. I would say that just it is a work in progress, you can call it. But if the results are not going to turn, then how the questions will be just dumped, and they are going to be more louder and louder against the likes of Arne Slot. And drop a like and tell me that is it the just pain which Liverpool fans are going to be facing this season, or it is Slot who is making this Liverpool out of that depth which they are down. It is just 3 match days, because Arsenal, who are having those high points, are above 7 points only. So 3 losses for Arsenal. But will Slot not face any defeat and move on? That is a big question. Do give your answers in the comment section. Till then, keep going guys, keep going. Bye bye.